Hearing.
Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show here, coming to you from the beautiful slopes of Breckenridge, Colorado. And you notice how I have my fireplace just expertly framed up over the show, just to give the warmth and the wonder of the Rocky Mountains here as we do this. And my good friend Tim Ham, IndyCar Tim, at our DSP affiliate in Dallas. How are you, my friend?
Well, I'm not skiing in Breckenridge, that's for sure. I mean, what the heck, man?
I'll have to invite you. We should probably do a corporate outing up here at the condo. Yeah,
definitely, man. You know, back when I was younger and married to wife number one and had no kids yet and had all the money still, we'd go to Breckenridge probably twice a year.
Yeah.
Back in the early mid-90s.
Great family place.
Yeah.
You know, you got your Vales and your Aspens. Those are more of the, check me out. I got the latest gear. Look at my new suit. That Breckenridge is very, as blue collar as skiing can be these days, because it's become ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
As blue collar as it can be, Breckenridge is it. It's very family oriented. You see a lot of kids on the slope. Yesterday, so funny. I wanted to get a picture with these kids because I was repping the Stamkos jersey yesterday.
Yeah,
had some fun with that. And these three little kids go by. One with an Austin Matthews jersey. The next one had a Connor McDavid jersey, and the other one had a little Ovechkin jersey. I was like, I got to get a picture with you three guys. Like, show the three of them, and then the grown-up little boy. Yeah, right.
That's awesome. We went to Aspen one time. We took a trip to Aspen and rented a house from a friend of a friend. We didn't want to stay in a chalet or anything, and so we rented this house for the week. And I'm out there enjoying the view on the back deck, getting ready to grill some lunch. And I hear this, hey, you. And I look over to my right. None other than Arnold Schwarzenegger sitting in his underwear on his back deck. We are next door to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Come on.
His driver.
Really?
We had dinner with them that night, and they were sharing all of their Peruvian wine with us.
Oh, my God. What a story.
On the Peruvian wine, dude, I bet with the four of us probably down 5 bottles.
You want some more Peruvian wine? You want some more Peruvian wine? Huh?
Hear me now, believe me later.
You little girl, you can't drink with me? What is wrong with you?
Dude, it's one of the greatest weeks we ever had.
Oh, my God. How cool would that be? See, now that just blows my Dan Marino story out of the water. I can't even come back with the Dan Marino story.
That's a good one, though.
You're dinnering with Maria and Arnold serving his Peruvian wine. That's fantastic. So we were up here. Nelson, were you here for the Dan Marino thing? My trusted compatriot who took a nasty spill on the 4 o'clock run. Do we still have can we show the arm? We still have the bubble?
No, it's
Oh, that's good. We might have to show that. He had a golf ball size right on his elbow after slamming down on the 4 o'clock run. I had a great bird's eye view of the whole thing, too. Yeah, I hated it for him, but, you got to laugh at your buddy.
Man, you got to have good stories when you get home, too. You got to have these stories.
So we were up here. This was back in, I think I may have still been in college or maybe just out of college, late 80s. And we decided to roll over to Vail, which is about a 45-minute drive from Breck, 45-minute drive from Breck. We're going to ski over Vail. So I think we have about like 10 or 12 of us from FSU. And we roll over there. So we skied Vail, really cool day. And we come in for the après ski, this really cool bar. And they got this great little duet, up on the stage doing sing-along songs. And one of my friends comes over and she goes, Dan Marino's here. I'm like, she knew Dan Marino was like my favorite all-time player, like of all time. And I'm like, bull crap. It's just that Dan Marino's not here. It's like, no, he's right back there. And I'm like, well, damn, let's go say hi. So he's standing there by himself. And we come up, we're like, Dan Marino, what's up, dude? And we're, having a great freaking time. So I'm like, I pull him up on stage to do Fins because he never heard the song Fins. He'd never heard the song Fins. And we're doing Fins to the right. And he's like, what am I doing here? And he would come up and bring the whole family. He didn't ski because of his knees. He played most of his career without an ACL.
Yeah.
And so he didn't ski. He'd just go to the bars and drink all day and have, just talk to stupid people like us. But the funniest part of it is we're all standing around, we're talking, and all of a sudden he rips one. And I mean, rips one. Like, I ain't even hiding it. I mean, we all look over and he's like, yeah, that's mine. Dan Marino.
Wow.
We had that was a great Vail story. So by
That's
the way, I have photographic evidence to prove it. I don't have it with me, but I did.
Oh, that'd be great for us to post, though. Yeah, we can post this.
Yeah, I've got it somewhere on my timeline from a few years ago. Somebody brought that picture back. So yeah. And yesterday was just, I mean, literally, I'm going down this one run, Monte Cristo, and it's probably about, I don't know, quarter mile long, maybe half a mile long, maybe longer, that you can see. And it's just a huge wide run, the Continental Divide, the Rockies in the background. There's nobody but me on this run. Nobody. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. It's 45 degrees outside. The sun is shining. There's, I got my earbuds in, playing some cool music, and I'm just zipping down. I'm like, that's just as good as it gets. As good as it gets. And snow gets a little slushy this time of year when it gets warm, but it's, for a hack like me, it doesn't really bother me. So yeah, it was, and I was, yes, Jeremy Law, I was repping the Stamkos jersey yesterday. I like doing that because you get conversations going. We had some Preds fans ski by. It was like a whole family in their Preds uniforms. The little kids, there's another little kid wearing a Maple Leaf jersey, and I'm like, Toronto sucks, and the parents are like looking at me like, what am I? Poor kid. I didn't say that to a kid. Just kidding.
You should have. You should have got it on film.
But the adults, yes, we definitely will say that. So we might rep the because it's going to be, I think, warmer today. So it's going to be a perfect day.
So what's the temperature right now while you're skiing? Like while you guys are out there?
Yesterday it was 45, a high of 4. I think it got up to 48. Today it's going to be in the 50s.
Man, when it was when it was in the the upper 40s or the around or low 50s. I mean, much warmer than that, it's hard to ski, but because of the quality of the snow. But when it was that, dude, I'd go out in my jeans. I wouldn't even wear my snow pants. I'd go out in my jeans and you spray starch them or whatever, Scotch guard them, and then freaking in a freaking t-shirt or something, and just like spring skiing, man, it's the best.
There'll be some t-shirts skiing today, no doubt about it. So we'll have to get that on video.
Are you guys all wearing helmets? Do they make y'all wear helmets on the mountain, or is that voluntary?
It's strongly suggested. Like I hate wearing the helmet. I hate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely hate it.
I've never worn
one.
But
everybody looks at you and yells at you if you don't.
Really?
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why. It's like this collectivism, like they have to be responsible for my health. And I guess it's like, well, if you bust your head wide open, then we got to come up on the lift and get you and take you down. So you're being irresponsible if you don't wear. So okay, I get it. But that is their job, by the way. But
yeah.
So it's strongly suggested. Job. Like today, I don't want to wear. I mean, it's so warm. Your head is sweating. It's just like it's not comfortable, and it's the chances of me falling are it's fast. I ski pretty good, but not great. But I don't take a whole lot of chances, so it's not like it's gonna.
What are your skis? What do you have for skis? What do you have for equipment?
We rent from Christie's Sports, which is really, really easy. It's like a block away from the condo, and you pre-order everything. I ski on 170s.
Okay.
You get like you get the medium package, performance package, literally $40 a day. I mean, it's not, even though, we own a place up here, we have an owner's locker. I've never really invested in skis because you ski once a year. It's not, it's really not worth it. By the time you ski them, they're outdated,
Yeah.
You won't even get your money's worth. So
ski equipment's like cell phones, I mean, heck, you keep it a year and it's already outdated the next year.
Exactly. So it's like, it's so easy. Come up here, rent the stuff, turn it in, you don't have to worry about taking great care of your stuff. And the boots we have are just fantastic. Best boots I've ever had. And that's the whole key to skiing, folks. You got to have good boots. You got to have good boots.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they fit you well. So yeah, perfect. So thumbs up to the guys at Christie's.
Nice.
Good stuff. All right, let's get into stuff that people actually care about.
Other than our ski exploits.
Yeah. The the Lightning last night. We went to, if everybody's been to Breck, and you'll know this, Eric's downstairs. Well-known bar, great place to watch hockey games. Got tons of video spots up there. The place has been here since I think the 70s. Unbelievable wings and pizza, fantastic. So we went in there, watched the Lightning game, and with some folks, and you just start talking to people from all over. Met a father-son from Chicago who happened to be staying right at Pine Ridge. In fact, we went to the hot tub. They came down and jumped in the hot tub, and then we see them, like, we sit down next to the bar. They're sitting right next to us. I'm like, I swear, we are not following you guys. I swear. So we sat down there and watched the hockey game Colorado was playing last night. So yeah, we watched the Lightning and jump out to that early lead, and it just, I mean, they are a freaking wagon right now. They are on an absolute blitz. And last night, Nicky Paul with a couple of great shots, one in close, one you start to score from distance now. Stamkos with another laser on a great setup. He had 3 points. Kucherov gets 3 points, still has the lead by 3 points for the overall lead, and gets the late game, gets the empty netter assist for Stamkos, which was sweet. Yeah. Very nice pass, by the way, but we'll take that. We'll take that cheapie, if you can call it a cheapie. So a 7-4 win, and Tompkins that was in goal last night, and it was earlier in the year he was called up, and he grew up in Montreal. It was a very emotional time. He got his first NHL win, and then they needed him again last night in Montreal, and he came up huge. And the third period, as the Canadians were surging, I think they had 16 shots on goal in the third, cut it to 6-4 with about 7 minutes to go, and had a man advantage, had a power play, and Tompkins made some great saves to save that game. I mean, you imagine blowing a 6-2 lead at this point of the season, that would have been bad, very bad.
Yeah.
But he came up with some big saves. So great moment for him, great moment for the Lightning. And now they're 9-1-1 in their last 11. They're hunting down Toronto for third place. They're definitely in. I mean, it's not,
they
haven't
could catch Toronto too. They could catch Toronto
easily. Yeah, they play them in the last game of the season too.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
So yeah, just the Bolts they're just on fire right now, and they're peaking at the right time. Vasilevsky's been playing out of his mind. They get it done last night and they're scoring. I mean, they are now just putting up goals right and left. And you like to see this. Now, obviously, it's going to be a defensive game in the playoffs. We know that. But their defensive side has been really good. I think they lost a little focus last night, game against Montreal, get a big lead. So I'm not going to, go crazy about them giving up 4 goals last night. But against the good teams, they've been locked down, and Vasi's been fantastic. So why not them at this point?
Listen to these goal totals, JP. I was looking at this last night. Not only are they playing well defensively, but listen to these goal totals going back 12 games now. The 7-0 win against Philadelphia. These are their goal totals. 7, 6, 5, 5, 4, 3 in the loss to LA, 4-3 loss. 3, 3, 4, 2 in the loss to Detroit, 4, and then last night 7. That's an offense that's clicking at the right time of the year.
And I would probably say that their goal differential in that time is they're probably scoring at about a 4-9 clip and giving up at about 2-2 clip, I think. So there's almost a 2.5 goal disparity. I mean, that's how well they're playing. Yeah. And this is what you want to see this time of year. So and the race for the and Nick said this yesterday, Tim. I don't know how you feel about this, but this race for the points lead is, to me, should be for the NHL anyway, should be like McGuire and Sosa and Griffey. Like, why is the NHL not just come watch every single night? Kucherov's getting 3, McDavid's getting 3, McKinnon's getting 4. I mean, back and forth we go. And these are 130 point totals, which all 3 will get, have only been done 5 times in the last 30 years.
It's insane.
I mean, this is historical stuff, and it should be treated as something. Outside of the hockey circles, does anybody know what's going on?
The league and ESPN's not promoting it like they should be.
No,
you said, the McGuire Sosa run back in '98. That's what it is for hockey. I mean, that's for single season points. That's amazing. And I don't know why the NHL, as much as they crave attention and they need all the marketing they can get, this is a perfect opportunity to put yourself at the forefront while there's no football. Baseball's early. Basketball's coming up on the playoffs as well, but nobody cares about the NBA. And it's a perfect opportunity, and they're missing it.
Well, you go look at right now, I'm looking at the front page of ESPN, their front page of their website. And you cannot find in their top headlines, they have 10 stories. Not one story about hockey. Not one. In the playoff push, not one story about hockey. Clay takes issue with Eason's shirt after key win. They're talking about guys having issues with shirts. Marlins Yankees start push because of eclipse. Okay. Literally, you have to scroll down. It's all NBA, women's Final Four, NBA, still scrolling, NBA, men's Final Four, UConn's Diamond, women's Final Four, Texas Open. I mean, literally nothing about hockey on the front page. Nothing, all the way down. And they're the television partner.
Well, the NHL isn't either. I'm looking at the front page of NHL.com, and there's 9 top stories. They're basically all game repacks. Marchand scores 400th NHL goal. That's the only one that's not like a game recap. Velarde's hat trick. Penguins defeat Capitals. Coyotes announce commitment to win with land auction. Panthers set record with quick goals. Kings hold off Sharks. Ekblad likely out for the playoffs.
Nice.
And that's it. I mean, there's nothing about this points race, and I don't understand it. Maybe we should take control of that. We'll start blasting it out.
Yes, and we should. Somebody needs to. I mean, that's just crazy because this is historic stuff what these guys are doing, and Kucherov especially. So we'll be tracking it for you each and every day. And I think I looked it up last night at the end of the night. I don't know if they had updated all the scoring because you got to go through all the games. Yeah, so Cooch is at 133, McKinnon is at 130, and McDavid is at 126.
Right.
With Panarin and Pasternak way back at 110 and 106.
Yeah.
So, and I think Colorado has how many games they have left to play. I think they're all about the same as far as games in hand and what have you. So, yeah, Colorado. Yeah, they're all about the same. So it's gonna be a race to the finish. Cannot wait,
man. And you know what? I think Connor McDavid's kind of getting lost here the past couple of years. I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about him in the grand scheme of the hockey, especially with Bedard coming up. And man, every time I watch freaking Edmonton, I'm amazed by him. And I forget, too, because I don't watch Edmonton hockey that much, right?
Oh, you froze. You froze on me, IndyCar.
Right, they're not on national. Man,
There we go.
There I go. I'm back.
You're back.
Did you hear anything I said?
Not much. What was your point again?
Really good points, too.
Isn't that always how it works? Well, we got time. Re-rack them. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like Connor McDavid kind of gets lost in the whole grand scheme of the NHL these days with Bedard coming up. But every time I watch Edmonton hockey, I'm reminded, like, holy crap, this dude's amazing.
He's really good. He's really good.
You know, and they talk about, every generation has, well, who's your next Gretzky? Well, nobody's ever going to be the next Gretzky. It's like saying there's your next Jordan. That's ridiculous. No, LeBron is not the greatest NBA player ever. But, you know, the argument for Connor McDavid, it's a good one for him to say that, you know, he's the best player in the league right now. You know, Kucherov, you can even throw Kucherov out there if you want, or McKinnon. But the whole Bedard coming up thing, I think, in Chicago has sort of pushed Connor McDavid a little bit to the background because everyone's paying attention to the young kid now, which is what Connor McDavid used to be. And
right, yeah.
But man, these guys are just fun to watch. The NHL is in a really good place right now, I think.
Never been more entertaining.
It just needs some over the top marketing, man. And that's what ESPN was supposed to do when they signed this TV deal. And I'm completely disappointed in the lack of marketing and promotion that ESPN does for the NHL.
No, it's terrible. And you kind of when they signed on with it, you're like, okay, all right, maybe ESPN's finally going to get on board with it. This because I think they did this back in the 90s, right? And and that's the reason that NHL left, because they were treated like the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
And I don't know what assurances were made, as far as what contractual things that they need to abide by, but clearly either the NHL is not holding them to what they contractually agreed to, or they didn't write the contract correctly.
Right.
And they should have made sure that this was mandatory, that they carry. Certainly the games, are mandatory, how many you're going to carry, but the promotion of it is what we're talking about in Sports Center. Like literally you will see through an hour-long Sports Center, in the first week of baseball, you'll see 35 minutes of baseball highlights, which are basically meaningless games, and maybe 2 minutes of hockey highlights total.
Yeah.
And that's where you really lose it, because the casual fan will catch up during Sports Center and they want to know what's going on. And as Rick so eloquently put it, ESPN or ESPCNN, the global leader in sports and social justice, which is pretty much what it's become. Can we put this on the screen? I think we can. Yeah.
Good one, John. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And I'll say this too, man. For me, the golden age of hockey on TV was when ESPN had the package back in the late 90s and into the early aughts, when you had Gary Thorne and Bill Clement calling the games. And I wonder now, like how much greater would that have been if that was just a few years later after HD TV came on board,
Right.
Having Bill Clement and Gary Thorne calling the NHL playoffs on HD TV. To me, that would be the ultimate. Nothing against the guys that are doing it now. Darren Pang's great. Engblom's obviously awesome when he was on there too. I love all of those guys. But for me, at the age I was and at the point of hockey fandom that I was in the late 90s, when the Stars were starting to get good after moving to Dallas and stuff, that was just one of the greatest, I think, broadcast duos for hockey.
Yeah, I can remember Gary Thorne calling the Lightning's Game 7, and that voice. And when you see the replays, and that was, he was the voice. Keith Jackson was the voice of college football. Gary Thorne was the voice of hockey. May he rest in peace. I think he did pass away, right, a few years ago. Yeah, Gary Thorne,
possibly. And I tell you, one of the weirdest things I ever experienced.
You never should do this on live TV. By the way, that was a fundamental faux pas right there by a seasoned veteran here. You never take a guess on whether somebody's alive or not.
Well, you just killed Gary Thorne because he is alive and well in Bangor, Maine at the age of 75.
Sorry, Gary.
It's great.
There you go.
I forgot even what I was going to say.
I'm just awful. I'm so sorry. Why did I think?
So I think Bill Clement died. You're probably thinking of Bill Clement.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. What's the way to bail me out? Now go Google that. Yeah, he's alive and well in Massachusetts. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Well, if he's still alive, why the hell is he not doing hockey games?
Oh crap! Now I just killed Bill Clement because he's alive at age 73 in Ontario. All right, we got to stop talking about people.
Sorry, guys. We're terrible. Something very bad's going to happen to both of us.
Holy crap.
We apologize. But the point was, you guys were awesome. You were the golden age of hockey, and you were fantastic, and we're so glad you're still alive. Oh, my God.
Just send them Christmas cards or something this year to make up for it.
Just awful.
Dude, I wonder if we could get Gary or Bill on the show.
Not now. No, we'll never get them on the show. Well, maybe we will. Maybe they'll both have a very good sense of humor. And,
I bet they would.
Yeah, hopefully. As
Thorne would probably come on and go, "Hey, there's days I think I'm dead too. It's okay."
Oh well, I guess it's a sign of respect, right? We're bringing you up because of your greatness.
Yeah, it's not our fault. Anyway, still alive. Good times.
All right, the Rays have stalked me and followed me out here to Colorado, and we were thinking about going to the game on Saturday, but it's not going to work out. Plus, it's going to be up here. It's going to be snowing and like 35-mile-an-hour winds on Saturday. I think it's going to be very windy at Coors Field on today as well.
That's fun for baseball, right? Those conditions. That's real fun for baseball.
Well, I don't know. I think it's going to be, but down in, up here, it's obviously a little. No, actually, that's for Saturday. My bad. For Saturday is when the weather's coming in. So, but today I think we're just going to start to get the wind. Now tomorrow, I don't know what the Coors Field is going to look like, but this is But today, I wonder if the wind's going to be blowing out. Can you imagine if the wind's blowing out at 30 knots at Coors Field?
Have you ever been
Like
to
every
Coors Field?
pop-up. Yeah, I've been many
It's a great
times.
park,
I've probably been to about, I don't know, 5 or 6 games there.
Yeah.
Great ballpark.
Great park. I love it.
I first went to Coors Field, and this was back in literally 1997, I believe it was. I was working in 96. I was working in North Carolina in Greensboro, and there was a group that was trying to get Major League Baseball to what they call the Triad, the Piedmont Triad, which is Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and High Point. So it's like the 45th largest television market in America, probably a little bit higher now. So they were trying to get a Major League Baseball. So I went to my news director and I said, well, let me go to, the last 2 expansion teams or few that have built stadiums and kind of figure out, how they went about building their stadiums so we can figure out, how we should be doing it here and how to attract baseball. Right. So they sent me, talked them into it, wink, wink. I'm like, hey, they went for it. Okay, great. So they flew me out to Colorado and I sat down with the Rockies owner at the time, gave me a great interview. In Coors Field, they took us all around and showed us everything and how they built everything. And at that point, it was a huge success. I mean, they were drawing 3 million people a year. I mean, it was like they were leading the league in attendance. And it's just this beautiful outdoor ballpark. Of course, the weather's always awesome. And the ball, of course, flies out of there because of the altitude. And it's one of those great old time ballparks, the nostalgic ballparks. And they just did a great job with it. And it's even to this day, it stands the test of time. And people, I was talking to some people yesterday and they're like, nobody cares if the Rockies are good. We just go there to drink. I'm like, okay. And that's what they do. They just there's great outfield areas that they have with all the areas where you sit there and just grab a beer and grab a Coors and a Coors Light and watch the Rockies. So,
and that's saying something because there's a lot of places to drink up there.
Yeah, exactly.
In and around that area and downtown and all that. And let me ask you this, JP, you're a beer drinker. When's the last time you drank an original Coors?
Oh God. Well, when it started coming up here in 83, it was a big deal because you couldn't get Coors east of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
So we'd come up here and get a case and we have to try to stuff it in on our big bags and bring it back and just hope it didn't blow all over your stuff. You come back with like a case of Coors, people leave it. Oh, dude, we got the Coors, and we drink it. It's like this, it's this huge deal.
That was the entire topic of Smokey and the Bandit, right?
Yeah.
That was the whole point of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So people forget that, but it was like Coors was a really, really good beer, and it was different. When you came out here, that's all you drank. Now Coors Light is just
it's awful.
Colored water.
No, it's awful. But the original Coors, the banquet beer. So I had one last night for probably the first time in at least 20 years.
Is it still the same?
Yeah, but they're served in those little bottles now, the little throwback bottles from before you had the long neck,
Yeah.
And I went to a little establishment up the road, met a friend there, and she was drinking one, and I'm like, man, I haven't had one of those for a long. So I ordered one, and it was freaking good, man. I'd forgotten how good that stuff is.
Yeah, we went to a little micro brewery called the Broken Compass, local place, and it was really, really cool. It's just like just a strip shopping center. You walk in and you're like, okay, and then they got this cool vibe all through the place with stuff, ski stuff all over the wall and pictures and just a cool vibe, and all these different taps and these beers that they make, and then they have like the big sliding garage door out the back, and you look up at the mountains. It's all right. You're right there. That's awesome. The view. Yeah. We had a, what is it? A blood orange IPA. Oh my God. So good. So good. Yeah. And so you have all these microbreweries up here. So you go anywhere and just get fantastic beer, and it's all made with that Rocky Mountain water. Yeah. And it's,
makes a difference.
So good. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So Broken Compass, if you come up here, it's a little bit of a drive. So if you have a rental car, or if you're going to Uber, just go on over there, and it's worth it. Just a little dive bar, but a really, really cool vibe there. All the locals are there. They didn't get to, dogs running around everywhere.
Those are the best, man. That's my favorite kind of place.
Yep. All right, let's take our first break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little football. Randy Gregory met the media yesterday for the Tampa Bay Bucs, and we got a soundbite with Kamala Harris, sports related, that I'd say you wouldn't believe it, but with our esteemed VP, You might. So we're brought to you, by the way, by the Jeeves Law Group. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Why go to some national firm that'll just treat you like a number when you can go to a local firm that will treat you like the local treasure that you are and take your case very personally, and they will fight for you. That is the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Scott Jeeves, a good buddy of mine. He will take care of you. Just go to the website, contact them through there, get a free case evaluation. Whatever your questions are, they'll give you a free case evaluation. Tell them you heard it on the JP Show. Back in 3. Stay with us. JP here for my friends at your local Synovus Bank. And I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta, big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation. And that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get-acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to Synovus.com to find out where your local branch is. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or try to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to GeddesGordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com. or call 813-485-6808.
With over 34 years of producing small and large events, Extravaganza Productions is truly a Tampa treasure when it comes to creating some of the very best events in Tampa and all across the United States. I've worked with them at the Florida Sports Hall of Fame inductions, the Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-sized event spread across all of Tampa Bay. They are the very best, from small meetings to exceptionally large corporate conferences to galas, fundraisers, sporting events, grand openings, whatever you want. Team EPI has an extremely talented staff of designers and show producers that develop extraordinary events fueled by the visions of their clients. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here, coming to you live from the slopes of Breckenridge out here in the Rockies, where the Rays will play today for the Rockies home opener. So there's a lot of hoopla going on over here. These people love their baseball. You turn on the local news, it's all about it. So We are brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Get your testosterone right, get your nutrition right, get your immune system right at BAMMC.com. All right. We got a couple of comments from our great commenters here. Wind blowing out of Coors Field. D-Lau may hit one out of the infield. Maybe. By the way, he is expected
Really
to be back. He'll be on Saturday, so we'll hopefully he'll be back in the lineup, and he'll want to play Friday. Like if the wind's blowing out, they'll all want to play at Coors Field, and all you got to do is just get that ball up in the jet stream, and it's gone.
Doesn't
Tim
take
Coors,
much.
I thought you were talking about beer. May as well order a seltzer.
Oh no, we're talking Coors Banquet beer, sir, not Coors Light. Coors Banquet beer is an entirely different kind of beer than what you're.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I still, it's hard for me to drink a regular Pilsner now anymore. And once you jumped on the IPA train, it's really hard, to drink that. But yeah, especially out here with all the local stuff, it's the cornucopia of beers. Speaking of drunk people, this was unfortunately this was a sober interview that VP Kamala Harris did yesterday. And I guess she was asked about, the explosion in women's college basketball and all the attention that it's getting. And she proceeded to give a history lesson to the reporter. So we could all learn from the esteemed intelligence of our esteemed vice president. Check this out.
Oh, okay. A bit of a history lesson. Do you know that the women's teams were not allowed to have brackets until 2022? Think about that. And
what?
That talk about progress, better late than never, but progress.
Better late than never.
And what that has done, because of course, when, I had a bracket, it's not broken completely, but I won't talk about my bracket.
We even know.
But you know what?
Gonzaga is.
How we love March
body
Madness,
language.
and even just now
So
allowing
cringy.
the women to have
So
brackets
cringe.
and what that does to encourage people to talk more about the women's teams, to watch them. Now they're being covered. And this is the reality. People used to say, "Oh, women's sports, who's interested?" Well, if you can't see it, you won't be. But when you see it, you realize,
Can't see it, you won't be.
Has she not ever heard of the WNBA? Like, what is she?
That's what I said on my tweet. Is like people now know how if sports fans can now understand how exactly clueless this woman is about everything, and this is her level of knowledge of basketball is about her level of knowledge of what's going on the border, which she's in charge of. And just think about this for a second, dude. That woman is a heartbeat and a very fragile heartbeat away from being the commander in chief, the president, the leader of the free world. The leader of the free world.
What is
this? Think about that for a second. And by the way, the only solace you take in that is that, of course, she and Biden aren't running anything. They're complete puppets. Anybody want to ask who is? Who is? Anyway, how can you live on the earth for that long and not know that the women have had a tournament? And who's advising her?
Well, let's break down the way.
What's the reporter doing? Excuse me, Madam VP, but actually the women have been doing this for quite some time. What is she even referring to?
Let's break down the way she described it, though. She didn't say the women weren't allowed to have a tournament. She said the women weren't allowed to have a bracket until 2022. So does that mean they had a tournament, but we weren't allowed to have brackets for them? Or does that mean they didn't have basketball? Or I'm so confused by her statement and what she meant.
Well, she'll do that to you. You'll be thoroughly confused. I don't even know. Where do you even start with that? And that's not like, well, JP, not a lot of people are into women's sports. And come on. You got to know they at least have a tournament. And clearly she knew she was prepped, that she was going to be asked something about this. Even all her handlers don't even know this. Or maybe, as somebody in the in my text chain here, and it's not on the comments, someone said, "Hey, we're just rewriting history here. We don't need to be correct. We're just rewriting a lot of different history. So this is the new history. Women didn't have brackets until 2022. and how horrible that is. I guess, say it long enough and loud enough, people will believe it. Is it propaganda? It's like, you really think that they can pull this one off? I mean, they have pulled a lot.
So, I wonder if this is a Mandela effect moment that I remember women having brackets in tournaments before 2022.
Maybe. I mean, just like, well, and I don't know if you saw this, but Sage Steele, our good friend, was on Twitter yesterday revealing that when she did the interview with ESPN for Biden, a supposed interview, they gave her the questions and said, absolutely in no way are you to deviate from these questions whatsoever. Yeah. Like, folks, that's not journalism.
Because they'll confuse them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, can you imagine that the guy leading the free world can't even do a simple interview with Sage Steele without having every question prepped and have to stick to every single thing so he can read the notes? I mean, that's just something. I don't care which side of the aisle you're on. That's just, that dude is not even either one of them close to being equipped to lead anything. I wouldn't let him drive my car. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't let him walk my dog.
When was the last time he drove a car, you think?
His convertible Corvette or whatever, that Mustang. Where he parks it, he bumps into all the classified documents.
By the way, shout out to Sage Steele. I love Sage Steele. Sage is
the best. What a courageous voice. What a courageous voice. I'm trying desperately to get her on the show. So hopefully we'll now that she's free of her ESPN shackles, she'll be able to.
We brought Rick over, JP. He says, damn, now they have to drink Coors after seeing that. Absolutely.
Like I said, there's not many like Miller High Life. Miller High Life's a good beer. Like, that's a Pilsner I'll drink. Yep. The old school Miller High Life.
The champagne of beers.
The champagne of beers. I was just going to say, what is their slogan? The champagne of beers. That's right. And the banquet beer. Yes, absolutely. So, yeah. Never been a Budweiser fan. Now,
all the Anheuser-Busch stuff's made with rice, and it gives me a headache. Anything made by Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah, it gets to my stomach. Oh, bad. Yeah, no good. Yeah. Anyway, so we had to bring that to light.
Rick says he can't drive his car. Too many cases of classified boxes in his car.
I saw that picture. I was like, wait.
Oh, Rick's in rare form tonight.
Yeah. I'm looking at. I remember there was such a big deal about the pictures that were in Trump's place. I'm like, like a guarded compound. The dude opens his garage door, he's parking his car, running into that's when you're all the way in. When you see the box crinkle, so the door will shut. I gotta hit that box over there that has all the contact information for the secret agents overseas.
It's so bad.
Whatever. And when it comes to, they're all knuckleheads when it comes to that stuff. But anyway, we'll move on from that. Randy Gregory spoke with the media yesterday. New signee of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and his numbers.
A question about this?
Yes.
Why?
I think. Well, to hear Bowles talk about it, it's his versatility, and they don't have somebody of his ilk. The rangy 6'5", long arms, coming off the edge type guy. Diaby is kind of like that, but he's 6'3", 270. JTS kind of like that, but we all know but he is a chess piece according to Todd Bowles. So I think, it's just it's a minimum deal, $2.49 million plus some incentives per game.
Right.
I mean, you obviously know him from his time in Dallas. He was always hurt there, right?
He was always hurt, and when he wasn't, dude's a head case, man. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. He's dealt with some maturity issues his entire career. The Cowboy, he was suspended. The Cowboys had to be patient with him when they drafted him. He couldn't play for like a year and a half, and they kept him on the roster anyway because they saw potential there. And when the dude's on, he is a beast. He is a beast on the defensive line. There's no question. Then we had this issue about, him re-signing in free agency. He'd agreed to terms, and then, nope, changed my mind. I'm going to Denver for less money. You know what? Fine. That's your prerogative. You can do whatever. Do you not remember this?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah, the
that now,
Cowboys
yeah.
announced we've come to the terms on a
Yeah.
whatever 3-year deal with Randy Gregory, and then like 5 hours later, it was like, nope, he's going to Denver instead, which was fine. Dude can do whatever he wants, right? Go take your money.
Right.
Denver got tired of him very quickly.
Yeah.
Ships him off to San Francisco,
Yeah.
where he did nothing, and they decided, we saw enough. We don't want you. So now he goes back to free agency, and I can't imagine a team like the Buccaneers having done their homework on him,
Yeah.
unless, and that's why I asked why. Like, unless that's just a huge hole that they want to fill economically and cheaply, and not have a huge impact on their salary cap situation. Man, I hope it works out for him, because, like I said, I like him as a dude. We've talked before. I've met him numerous times here in Dallas. He's a good dude. I've got we have a signed autographed picture of him in a Dallas uniform at our studio here. So, to us. So good dude. And I wish the best for him. And I hope it works out for the Bucs as a kind of pretend Bucs fan. But, I question the move. Like, are they just that desperate for depth on the defensive line?
Yeah, and a word I'm saying yeah, and I think what it does is if the draft doesn't fall to them and they don't get an edge rusher, they got him in their back pocket. A guy that can play. You might be able to add a little something, and he knows Bowles very well. He said, "I expect to help and I expect to influence the team how I know I can." Is that a good thing? And make plays the way I know I can. At the end of the day, it's really what you make it. I expect to come in here, keep my head down. I know Coach Bowles. I know what he expects. I know what Coach Edwards expects, because George Edwards is the new linebackers coach here, outside linebackers, who had him in Dallas there.
Yep.
31 years old, had 2.5 sacks in 12 games with the 49ers, 4 tackles for loss, 8 quarterback hits. So he's just going to be a rotational piece and maybe gives you a little insurance if nothing falls to you in the draft. I don't think they're expecting big things, but yet, the Bucs have been very careful about the personalities they bring into their locker room. And that's why when I heard his name, I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't really fit with what we're doing here. We're weeding out guys like that, Devin White. We're not bringing them in. And, as like you said, Denver got sick of them pretty quickly and shipped them off to the 49ers. And, maybe George Edwards thinks he can reach him and keep him in line. But, I guess if he does get out of line or they see some issues, they're just going to cut him. It's a minimum salary deal. So it's kind of a no-brainer. And it just said, hey, listen, if you start any, BS, you're out of here.
Yeah, I'm curious if there's language in his contract, regarding stuff like that. I'm sure there is, which is normal and that was one of the biggest stinks with him in Dallas, is Dallas had in his contract, his free agent contract he was going to sign here. It was like that. If you screw up, we can cut you and you lose money. And it was, I don't remember what the exact language was. And in the contract that Denver offered him didn't have that language in it.
Yeah.
And that was a big stink at the time here in Dallas. Old Jerry chased him away. But the fact is that language that was written into Randy Gregory's contract is in everybody's contract here in Dallas. It was that they weren't singling him out. Yeah. And he got all butthurt about it and went to Denver.
Well, like I said, this one is a bit of a head scratcher for me, just in terms of, but I haven't talked to the guy. I wasn't there in San Francisco. I have no idea where he's at today. We just know what his past history is. Yeah. So we give him the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully he can come in and kind of be part of the culture and not stand out in a bad way. Yeah. It was interesting because I was watching the Dan Patrick show yesterday, and they had Sean Salisbury on, who does radio in Houston, and they were talking about the Stephon Diggs trade from Minnesota to Houston, and he wasn't kind of over the moon about it, because he was like, this guy is a pain in the ass, and that's why they gave him, or Buffalo gave him away for nothing, right? That's why they gave him away for nothing, basically, or not much. What was it? A future second round pick? Mm-hmm. Not what you would expect for a number one receiver. And so you say, look at what Houston has. You got Tank Dell and Nico Collins, who are emerging terrific receivers. So now you bring Stephon Diggs in. Now he's going to want his 10 to 12 targets. And if he doesn't get them, he's going to be in the year of a young quarterback that doesn't need that. I witnessed, not witnessed this with Deshaun Jackson here when they brought him in, and I think it was Jameis's third year, and second or third year. I think it was third year. And I said, this is not good. This is not good because Deshaun is going to be squawking. He's going to be, in Jameis's ear all the time. And I want the ball, got to get the ball. And when Mike Evans gets more targets and Godwin gets more targets, he's going to be bitching and moaning. And sure as hell, that was the case. That was the case. And so what happens is Jameis, who wants to make everybody happy, tried to force him the ball, all these times. And he's pretty much, a run down the field guy. And if you don't hit the deep ball, which was not Jameis's forte, now, you got a disgruntled receiver who's like, oh, we got to go back to Fitz. And that was the year that Fitz started and Jameis was suspended. Right. So it's like, you got a great young quarterback in CJ Stroud. You do not need this guy coming in, demanding the ball, because what happens is what happened to Jameis. Suddenly the quarterback's not reading the defense and taking what the defense is giving him, which is how you're supposed to play football. Now you're like, oh, I gotta get it to Deshaun, even though he may not be open on this player, that or may not be, there's a better place to go with the football. Now I got to get it to Stephon or he's going to be bitching and moaning. I mean, if like Sean said, if they, it's week 4 and, Nico Collins has 12 catches for 150 and he has 2 for 38, and they win the game, is he going to be stewing in the locker room when all the media goes over to talk to Nico? Yes. The answer to that is yes. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure, Houston's loaded. They got a good roster, but I'm not sure that move is suspect to me.
Man, and I don't even know what to say about that. That's it. I don't. None of that makes sense to me, to be honest with you. It seems unnecessary. Yeah,
I mean, as good as they played last year, and I guess but hey, the Bucs did it with Antonio Brown, and they won a Super Bowl. But of course, he self-destructed, the next year. But at least we got one out of it, and he was a big part of it.
He was.
So maybe that's what Houston is saying is we'll bring him in here. Hopefully he'll behave for a year, and then we'll see where we go after that, because I don't think they're signed him to an extension yet.
No, and I know they've. This is what's curious to me is they voided what was the last 3 years of his contract, so he can be a free agent next year. I didn't know you could do that. Like, how does the NFLPA allow that to happen?
If they're voidable years, if they're set up that way in the beginning of the contract as voidable years, which they probably were to take the salary cap hit down. I'm guessing that's
maybe so. I mean, I know that's a thing with avoidable years when they're designated as that initially on the contract, but I was under the impression these were just contract years that weren't voidable. And and again, man, the dude was disgruntled in Minnesota, wanted out, went to Buffalo. What, 4 great years there, whatever it is, 4, I'd say 2 great years, 2 meh years in Buffalo. Disgruntled again with one of the best quarterbacks in the league, by the way, on one of the best offenses in the league, and you're disgruntled. Now you want out. So they ship you off to Houston to an up-and-coming team where a lot of young players, right? Even in the wide receiver core. Tank Dell's young. Obviously, CJ Stroud's young, the quarterback. And your attitude can mean everything for those young guys, right? And you have an opportunity to really make this go south quick in Houston. I just don't understand. They're not like a wide receiver away from winning it all.
No.
Which, they need help a lot more play. They need a freaking star running back, first and foremost.
Well, they got Joe Mixon, didn't they? They got Joe Mixon.
They got Mixon, but again, you need a star. I don't think Mixon's a star running back.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good. But again, to your point, they got enough weapons. They got enough weapons. You don't need to add somebody like this. Yeah, we'll see how that works out. But that's a question. I think Houston's done a lot of good things, and they're sitting in a good position. But that was a little weird on their part.
Because Nick Caserio's the GM down there has done a ton of great stuff. With rebuilding this thing. I mean, he made some really bad coaching choices, obviously. Three coaches in 3 years before they ended up with D'Amico Ryans. But, they finally got some stability. They got the right coach. They got their franchise quarterback. They got depth in the offensive positions, I just don't. It just seems like
Makes-
they're screwing it up, man. It's a very Houston thing to do, right?
Yeah. We'll see how it works out, but I don't think it will. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
A couple other shout outs here from our great commenters. James says Kamala also bragged about the trillions are going to be spent on more green mandates. Trillion with the T. We're in deep spit if there's two are back in November. Oh God, yes we are. I don't know what the alternatives are, but man, something's got to be done. Well, we all know what the alternative is.
Yeah.
Do it. Even if you got to hold your nose, do it. Kenneth says our esteemed VP has some memorable quotes. Do you remember the one? The passage of time passes as the passage of time. And once you get to the passage of time, time has passed because it's the passage. Yeah, that was.
It's astute, isn't it?
I remember watching that, and I'm going, "Is this for real? Like, how many drugs do you have to be on to talk like this? Like, unbelievable." Rick says, Chris Olbermann defends ESPN calling Sage stupid. Well, she's a stupid girl. Why stupid? I mean, talk about a dude that's just left the farm. Woo. Yeah, this great point by Rick. Same thing happened with Baker in Cleveland with OBJ. Yeah, it's just it takes you away from the flow of the game, the way you're supposed to read the defense. And this is why Evans and Godwin are so great. Is they don't, Godwin's wife may bitch about his targets, but he doesn't. He doesn't. But even that blew over, right? Because Godwin came out and said the right things, right? He's not coming out there and bitching and moaning. Neither one of them are divas. And they set the table to allow Baker to read the field, and whoever gets the touches gets the touches, And I think they do a pretty good job. And at times we're all going, Jesus, you have one target for Mike Evans in the first half. What are we doing? And it's got to be better, right? It's got to be better than that. But sometimes play callers get in a rut. The defense doesn't look like they're giving anything. And then you look up at halftime and, Mike Evans has one target. You can't do that. But I think in general, it's a blessing for the Bucs to have the receivers they do. And I think they're going to add to the group. I think they're going to definitely draft at least one wide receiver in this. And they said, it may be up high. It may be up high because Godwin's contract is up at the end of next year. And as much as I love Chris Godwin, he's just, I thought he's the top 5 receiver in the league for maybe not, previous to him getting hurt. When his knee got blown up against the Saints in that cheap shot, he hasn't been the same after that. He just hasn't. That explosion that he had in running routes, the more so the explosion breaking tackles it was elite level. And I'm not sure we've seen it since. So can you sign him is he still one of the top 20 receivers in the league? I think he is.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
He is. But you can't pay him $25 million a year in his next contract, so.
No, because he's not your number one. I mean, that's what you're going to pay to your number one guy. And you already got that guy locked down. So just go get some number 2 help in the draft or, a lower level free agency guy. As a guy like Josh Reynolds, is he still out there? I don't know if he's signed with anybody, but I think he'd be
I'm not
great
sure.
number 2
T. Higgins
guy.
might be out there.
Right. If he can convince them to let go of him, then for sure. But that's going to cost you draft equity, and you don't want to give up any draft equity or a dollar amount like that. Somebody like Josh,
and you got to pay him. And
you
got to pay him $25 million a year. Yeah.
Michael Gallup still available? I mean, didn't he visit with the Bucs? I think Gallup visited with the Bucs, didn't he?
He might have. Yeah. What do you think of him?
Probably a serviceable number 3 at this point. He hasn't come back from that ACL tear against the Cardinals in the last game of the season a couple of years ago, and his cap hit with Dallas is the reason he was cut. But he just, you know what? The best stuff he showed me this past season was in the playoff loss to the Packers. I think he had like 7 catches and a touchdown and 78 yards or something like that. I don't think he had more than 1 catch in any game this season before that.
Yeah. So we could probably do better than that. Probably did better than that. So,
yeah.
All right, Timmy, good job, my friend. I got to go out here and put my boots on and go do a little skiing in this perfect weather here today, my friend. You and Johnny Gerber take it the rest of the way. I'm sure you'll be talking a little Masters.
Yep.
Coming up
Texas
this week.
Open.
Texas Open as well. Yeah, all that stuff. So Have a great day, everybody. Tim will take you the rest of the way. We'll see you on Monday live from back in the homeland. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Did you know Steve Weintraub founded the Gold and Diamond Source over 40 years ago by selling gold-plated sand dollars? And to celebrate, the Gold and Diamond Source is selling gold sand dollar jewelry with the proceeds supporting Julie and Steve Weintraub's foundation, Hands Across the Bay. Yes, in 1984, Steve opened their first location, expanded to 9 stores as far as Atlanta, but now they've consolidated all that inventory under one roof, becoming one of the largest family-owned fine jewelry stores in the country. Julie, of course, joined forces with her husband 20 years ago, and they're going to celebrate by offering up to 40% off select jewelry items. Plus, with gold prices near all-time highs, it's the perfect time to trade in your broken or unworn pieces for something new and stunning. Unlock the value in your jewelry box today at the Gold and Diamond Source. It's always one place, and it's always a great place. The Gold and Diamond Source celebrating their 40th anniversary, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
This is The Strike. 102.5 WHPT, HD2 Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports. I'm IndyCar Tim, your guest host for Hour 2 on a Friday. Happy weekend to everybody out in Tampa, St. Pete, and wherever you are listening, because JP's show is worldwide, nationwide. We got a lot of people that just tune in from everywhere, as I'm hosting from Dallas this morning. Joining us as my guest co-host for Hour 2. You guys saw him on Tuesday and didn't give him too much grief, so I guess you're okay with him. PGA of America member Johnny Gerber joins us live from Kansas City. You got to be on the other side of the screen, though. I'm not used to that. There we go.
I know. That's better. That's
like
better, right?
How are things going, Johnny?
Things are good. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Just enjoying watching JP go on and on and on about his ski trip.
I see. I heard. I'm surprised he hasn't broken any limbs yet, so that's a plus. So no, he seems like he's having a great time there. Well-deserved vacation, certainly for JP, if that's what he's doing, having a vacation. But skiing is not my idea of a vacation. But I understand people. I tried it one time. I did. I consider myself a pretty good athlete, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Yeah, you brag a lot about how great you are.
That's not true. I don't brag. I do not brag. I just show you. No, I show you how it is.
All right.
I tried to ski. And I couldn't get up on the skis. That's how. And I took a lesson. And my girlfriend at the time, she was a really good skier. She was going down these mountains like a little mouse, just going all over the place. And I tried, and she got tired of them. She said, "Well, I'll just pay to get you a lesson." It didn't help. Trust me. I think I got worse than I did at the beginning, which is probably impossible for most people. But I took a lesson and I couldn't figure out how to stop. And then,
wedge. It's when you learn the wedge.
No, well, I tried everything, and then I got so frustrated. I stopped, and I do what I usually do. What I do better than skiing. I went and had some drinks. And then I'm sitting at the bar at the lodge, and people are saying, "Well, your first time, you should have snowboarded."
No.
People say it's a lot easier to snowboard.
Nope.
And I said, I literally looked after I was, 4 or 5 drinks in. I said, trust me, it wouldn't matter. It really would not matter.
They're two entirely different things. If you want to snowboard, go snowboard. But if you want to ski, go. I will never put a snowboard on my feet.
Well, long story short, I won't be doing either again. We're just going to shut.
That's what you're saying.
I like 85 degrees sun, water. I don't need mountains and 30 and cold.
So what you're saying is maybe you're not as great of an athlete as you claim to be.
I know I'm actually better because you know why? What great athletes do, they know what they can and can't do. They do. And I couldn't do it. So let's talk about something actually
the great athletes can do all of it.
Well, that's not true.
You'll never hear me say I'm a great athlete. I'm great at a lot of things, but athletics at this age is not one of them anymore. Yeah, I have no connective tissue in either one of my knees.
You're not very mobile. You're not very mobile.
I'm not very. I can't even hardly play basketball anymore. That's frustrating. I got winded mowing my lawn yesterday.
No, that's not good.
I thought I was going to die, and it was like 74 degrees. It wasn't even hot.
It's nice there in Dallas, and you're huffing and puffing. That's all. That's all those fireballs and all the repelments and all that stuff that's just molded into your body.
I had a few of those last night.
I know.
Not gonna lie. But this was like at 3:00 in the afternoon at 74 degrees, and I'm like, it's my first mow of the season, so it was a little tall. I needed to do the front and the back. I got done with the back, dude, and I was just like, hell no. I was just sweating and huffing and puffing, and I couldn't do it. And I told my kid, I had 2 kids here, they're home from school right about that time. I'm like, yeah, one of y'all's doing the front yard. I'm not even touching it.
So y'all, you know what? This could be really, really good or really bad. You're either going to maybe get in a little bit better shape, which I know you're not going to do.
Or, I did a good job on it.
Yeah, it looks good.
There, right?
Or you just have to delegate the lawn to one of your boys.
Yeah, I need to do that. But they want money, man. Kids are selfish these days. I'm like, I mowed the grass for free for my entire teenage and pre-teenage years from my old man. I didn't get paid anything. I got free rent and food, just like they do. But they're like, anytime I want them to do something, chores or whatever, how much do I get paid? Are you kidding me?
That sounds like your parenting at the very beginning of their birth was a little off in the first place. That's what I think that is.
Yeah, we did reward them for literally everything back in the day.
Yeah,
just expect money for being kids.
For walking.
Hey, Dad, I'm going on a field trip to the Perot Museum in downtown Dallas to look at all these things. Can I have $100? What? $100 for what?
It's free, isn't it?
Food and souvenirs, and I'm like, well, I will pack you a lunch like the rest of your classmates. Dad, none of the cool kids pack lunches. They buy at the cafeteria there. I'm like, yeah, but it's not $100.
I think you're getting hustled.
That's how much I need.
It sounds like a hustle to me.
And then I'm like, y'all going to start helping me pay the internet bill and helping me pay the freaking rent and electric bill and water, because y'all take 8-hour showers every day. My water bill's $200.
Oh,
kids are the worst, man.
You have 100 of them, so you ought to know.
Yeah, y'all don't have kids. Johnny, the Texas Open is happening right now, just down south of me, way south of you, down at the TPC San Antonio. Had kind of an eventful day yesterday, didn't we? Namely with Jordan Spieth, whose card was all over the place, and you and I were kind of texting back and forth a little bit about him, and an unlikely leader at the top of the leaderboard heading into round 2.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, shooting 9 under on that golf course. I mean, 3 above anyone else was pretty special. I mean, you look at a guy like Ashton Bhatia, like he's won on the PGA Tour, and he's one of those kids that turned pro at 17 years old, which was scrutinized a bit. But he's certainly over probably since he's got on tour and then playing the Korn Ferry Tour, he's certainly shown how good of a player, good of a ball striker. That's kind of his strong suit. And shooting 9 under out there with winds picking up, it was a little easier early, and then the winds picked up in the afternoon, and he was in the second wave, which was pretty impressive for him to shoot 9 under. And the golf course is playing exactly how we thought when we previewed it at the beginning of the week. It's playing firm, it's playing fast, it's a little tighter of a golf course driving wise than most people think. and it opens up a little bit in some spots. But you look at certainly what Jordan did, shooting 1 over par. He's making a move today. I think he's 4 under today, so he's making a move today, which is good to see. But with an eagle and a hole in one, shooting 1 over par on that place, it's just what Jordan does. And he was chirping. The Bluebirds were chirping like he always does when he's kind of off a little bit. But it's good to see him playing well today. And it'll be curious to see about Jordan if he gets in contention or if he's kind of a little bit close, but maybe can't win. Is he going to work on some things for next week? That's what tendency that Rory does a lot.
Right.
He's not in contention. He'll start, and a lot of these guys do too. They'll start playing some shots that potentially that they will use next week. So it'll be curious to see what Jordan does, after he makes the cut, because like I said, I think he's making a move today. I think he's 4 under on his own, 4 under today. A couple other guys making a move. Lucas Glover's holding steady. He made a great move yesterday. He was 3 over par early in his round. We had him on our card, and he really kind of wrote the ship a little bit and made some birdies and hung in there. But it's another guy that I thought the golf course was really good for. Great ball striker. He looks a little fatigued. He looks a little tired. I was watching him yesterday. Yeah. He looks a little heavy. And that's a golf course that's it's not the hardest walk on the PGA Tour, but it's certainly not the easiest either. So curious to see how he shoots up today. Batia's kind of drawing back a little bit. I think he's 1 over today. He's struggling a little bit with his ball striking, but I think the golf course is going to play similar today as it did yesterday with the firm and windy conditions.
So it's funny. We were making fun of Jordan Spieth's card in round 1 yesterday. I want to here's how his card went yesterday. All right, and this is typical Jordan Spieth, right? Like we talked about it. Started off on the front 9. He goes bogey, par, par, bogey, birdie, birdie, bogey, par, bogey to finish off the front 9 at 2 over. Back 9, he goes par, bogey, birdie, par, double bogey, par, eagle with the hole in one on 16, which we watched live on TV. That was a great shot, by the way.
Yeah.
And then birdie to finish it 1 over. And then, as you mentioned, so far today, he started on the back 9 today. He's gone birdie, 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 par, birdie, par, par, par to finish off the front 9 or the back 9, his first 9 today at 4 under. So, we talked about it on our show, our golf show From the Rough on Wednesday. Spieth's one of these guys that kind of all over the place, right? And and the reason we're talking about Spieth so much is this is the Texas Open, and he's a Texan from the Dallas area. He went to UT and all that stuff down in Austin. But this is just how he is, right? He's going to be on one day, and you hope that when he's off, it's early, right, on Thursday, like it was yesterday, to give him some time to catch up, which is, it appears that's what he's doing here in round 2. We'll see how his second 9 goes as he tees off on the front 9 here shortly. But at 4 under, the leader's now at 8 under. I mean, you're only 4 off the lead after that ridiculous day yesterday.
Yeah, and we'll see how he holds in on his second 9 today. I mean, they're playing the kind of the conditions aren't nearly as windy this morning as it will be in the afternoon, so they're getting the good side of the draw at least today. So, usually how it works is they'll have an early time and then late, or if they tee off late, they'll go late early in the first waves. And some of those times, especially when you look at, like it's very apparent in the British Open, if you get on the bad side of the draw, that they call it the bad side of the draw with the conditions, it can really be detriment to your tournament. But yeah, he's on the good side of it this morning. It looks like he got up with his first 3 holes, he's birdieing the first 3 holes. But you're 100% right. That's exactly what Jordan Spieth does. And, for him to maybe have, even if he has one good round and take that momentum potentially into next week, that's something that Jordan, he needs to do going into Augusta, because his performance this year so far hasn't been great. It really hasn't been great. And, Jordan, obviously, everyone knows how great of a putter he is, and his ball striking, he's been working on his golf swing for the past couple of years, and his ball striking can go awry. So if he can just get that kind of controlled a little bit and just keep it on the planet, to be honest with you, I mean, just make your foul balls. Don't eliminate those double bogeys. It's hard to catch up on those double bogeys, and eliminate those foul balls. And I think Jordan Spieth will be fine, because he's always in it, as good of a putter as he is.
Your leader, Akshay Bhatia, who we discuss pretty frequently. He's one of he's super, super young, one of these up and comers on the tour. And with the split with Live Golf and a bunch of the so-called great ones going that route. Everybody's, or not everybody, there's been complaints out there about how watered down the PGA Tour is. And I always take offense to that, because there are still great players on the PGA Tour. I mean, the ones that you know about, obviously, like Rory, Scotty Scheffler, Jordan, we'll throw him up there in that group. But there's a ton of guys now that are coming up, they're getting a chance to be great, that maybe otherwise wouldn't be here without some of those guys leaving spots in some of these tournaments. Akshay Bhatia is one of these guys. Now, he was your leader yesterday, as you said, at 9 under. He is at 8 under for the tournament, and this is how he started on the back nine as well, too, today. He's gone birdie, bogey, par, bogey, birdie, as he's teeing off on 17 right now at 1 over for the day, 8 under for the tournament. How do you see him, like, historically, how has he done here leading early in a tournament? Like this is kind of a big tournament because it's a warm-up for the Masters. What do you expect to see from him here throughout the rest of the weekend?
Yeah, I think he's going to play solid. You look at a guy like that, he's had great success in a lot of those island courses, the Puerto Rico, Mexico, and, obviously in the Bahamas when he was on the Korn Ferry Tour. So when it's windy, he's such a good ball striker. When it gets windy, he really kind of sticks out a little bit. He's kind of been in a lot of different spots. He's been a front runner. He's come from behind. So he's not really scared of the moment, no matter what the moment is for him. So, you look at a guy that's a really good ball striker like that, and if it gets windy, he's prepped for it. He certainly is prepped for it just by his performances that he's had in some of those golf courses, like I said, on the islands and the Korn Ferry, Bahamas, Puerto Rico, things like that. So I look for him to kind of, it's very difficult to follow up a 63 or a low round. We talk about that all the time, and we use that in one of our models, in our gambling models. A guy shoots a super low round, and then what do you come back with? It's very difficult, and it's very rare a guy will come back with another low round. So, maybe that's a situation for him. I mean, if he can really get it, maybe 1 or 2 under par for the day, I think that's success coming off 63. So I think he'll be right there. Winning's difficult out there. And I like what you said, honestly. We debate this all the time. We talk about it all the time on the show. Is like, these superstars or Rory's, especially Rory, is very vocal about this. And I really do like Rory, but I think he's completely wrong when he wants to make these fields smaller. If you look at the PGA Tour, 6 of the 13 tournaments are first-time winners on the PGA Tour and rookies. So, it's not like the old days where, 50 guys could potentially win on the PGA Tour, all 125 or all 144, whoever's in that field. These guys are good, and any one of those guys can win on the PGA Tour. And I think when you shrink those fields, it limits the opportunities for these guys, especially the rookies that, they need to learn the golf course. They need starts. Playing the Korn Ferry Tour is one thing, but when you're playing on the big stage of the PGA Tour, learning new golf courses, it's a whole different animal for these guys. But I want the big fields. I like them bringing back tour school. Things like that. So, there's so many good players up there. Why are you eliminating those fields?
Yeah, and the PGA Tour is doing some real good things, I think, coming into let some of the younger guys get on the actual tour, skipping Korn Ferry with the collegiate champion being now allowed into the field on the PGA Tour right out of college, right out of his amateur status. That's how Ludwig Aberg, now one of the huge up and comers that we talk about quite a bit on From the Rough, coming up. We'll cover some of his stuff here over the weekend on our golf show. But some good things happening down in San Antonio on the PGA Tour. If you're even just a passive fan of the PGA Tour, don't think because some of those guys are gone, the big names, so-called big names, are over at Live, that nobody can watch them on TV and they're kind of out of sight, out of mind, for me at least, and a lot of people. There's some talent on the PGA Tour. It is not short of talent. It is not short of drama. And you've still got Rory still fighting for his career Grand Slam. And we'll talk a little Masters here a little bit later in the show. I wanted to transition over into some baseball, Johnny, because there's kind of some interesting news in the world of the Dodgers and Major League Baseball. I don't know if you saw or not. Shohei Ohtani hit his first career home run with the Dodgers. And for anybody that's a baseball fan or knows about baseball, that's a big deal when, a big player like that hits his, whatever the momentous home run is, the team wants the ball, right? The Hall of Fame wants the ball, and there's a process. So when a fan catches the ball, usually you will have immediately representatives of the team, the stadium, whoever, come and meet you, take you back to the concourse, take you back to an office somewhere, and negotiate. What do we need to do to get the ball from you? Apparently, the negotiations for the Ohtani home run ball in Los Angeles went horribly wrong. This is from Yahoo Sports as they reported this from The Athletic. So, the ball legally belongs to the fan, right? And he can do with it what he wants. He can keep it. He can sell it. And like I said, they are quickly escorted away from their seats. They don't want anything to happen to the ball. They don't want someone to steal it from them or too many hands on it, right? And this goes back for a long, long time. It goes back for a long time, that practice. So the fan that caught Ohtani's home run ball is a lifelong Dodgers fan. I won't say his name, but he was there with her. He was there with his wife, right? They were both just there watching the game. He catches the ball, gives it to his wife. So now his wife is in possession of the ball.
Boy, that's a mistake.
He's probably like, here, put it in your purse or something like that. That's what I would be doing. So then she tells the story. She was escorted from the stands, intentionally separated from her husband, who even before they got to the concourse were pressuring her to give up the ball for what she described as next to nothing. All right. So they're trying to get the ball for next to nothing. She ultimately exchanged the ball for 2 signed hats, a signed ball, and a signed bat.
That's it?
Nothing else.
Wow.
An auction house told The Atlantic that the ball would have been worth at least $100,000. So the Dodgers allegedly threatened to refuse to authenticate the ball if the couple took it home, right? So they're threatening like, yeah, you can take it home, but it's not going to be worth anything anyway because we won't authenticate it. And, I don't know how that process works. Are they the only ones that can authenticate it? Like, can't Major League Baseball do that? Does it have to be the team? I don't know how that works. But it also meant the Dodgers would have to explain to their $700 million player, Shohei Ohtani, that they didn't have his ball because they didn't want to pay just a few $1,000s, right? So now you got to go to Ohtani and say,
I lost you. You froze up.
and yeah, I'm having internet issues here at the house. I apologize. I don't know what's. Grievances beyond a statement, and all the team said was that they're having further conversations with the couple.
I'm pretty sure they got more things to worry about with Ohtani than that daggone baseball, to be honest with you. And first off, why did it take him 7 games to hit a home run? That would be more. I would be worried about some of that than he's not pitching this year, right? I think they kind of with his rotator cuff.
Yeah, well, didn't he have
Tommy John?
Yeah.
He had Tommy John. So I think I would be more concerned about that. I mean, obviously with his off the field issues, what's going on, and who knows how that is. I mean, you could look at those layers, peel those layers back in a million different ways and say, boy, it just doesn't sound right. It doesn't matter how much money you have somebody that has that much access to you, doesn't really seem right. But that's a whole nother topic. But I would be more concerned about, okay, why did it take you 7 games or 8 games to hit your first
home run?
Yeah.
And, and I'm a baseball guy. I love the game. I love the history of the game. I love these moments, like big home runs. Like, I love that. However, as a non-Dodgers fan, just a baseball guy, I never would have imagined his first home run with the Dodgers would be this big of a deal. It's just another home run in his career, right? Like, I get it. It's worth a little bit. I don't see the $100,000. Like, it's his first home run with the team of what hopefully are like 500 home runs he hits with the team.
Yeah, you're right. It sounds strange. I mean, but if you look at those Dodgers, man, look. I mean, how do they lose a game? I mean, with the firepower that they have, they are so loaded on the offensive side. I mean, they should score 10 runs a game. They certainly, especially the way baseball is, and they want runs, and the pitching is not nearly. I don't think is not nearly as good as it used to be in terms of that. But boy, how do the Dodgers lose? But they've done this for a long time. The Dodgers, they've loaded up, spent a lot of money, and it doesn't seem to work out. And I don't know if this just continues with their pitching is not nearly as good as it used to be.
Right.
Kershaw, obviously, his decline certainly didn't help when they're banking on him with his playoff record was like unheard of.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Like I said, my biggest thing is why did it take him so long? 7 games. I mean, Mookie Betts has got like 5 home runs already.
So the Dodgers are 7-2 right now on top of the NL West, above Arizona at 4-3. San Diego's 4-5. San Francisco 2-5. The lonely Colorado Rockies, which is where the Tampa Bay Rays will be playing this weekend, at 1-6. So look for a Rays series win there, Rays fans. And I'm kind of close to a situation similar to this, Johnny. I'm sure I've told you that when Aaron Judge hit his 62nd home run of the season last year, he did it there at the Globe, and a friend of mine caught the ball. It's actually
really?
a work colleague from Sports Illustrated. It's her.
Oh, you did tell me, yeah.
Her husband caught the ball, and of course, they went through the routine, yanked him up to the clubhouse. Now, they didn't tell any horror stories about being mistreated or poor negotiations or anything. The team immediately offered, or they had an offer, I think, from a collector. I don't think this was coming from the team, but it was that night. They had to do it that night. $3 million for the ball.
Wow.
And they turned it down.
Oh.
They said, no, you know what? We're going to take our chances on an open market. And they authenticated the ball. They let them take it home, right? They went through the normal process you hear. They were on the news. They had multiple, articles written about them and the ball and how much will it go for. Weeks later, after they were holding out all of this time, do you know what they ended up getting for the ball?
$2 million.
$100,000.
No way. Oh.
Yeah. So this works both ways.
They're still your friends, because that just doesn't sound like they made some very good choices.
Can you imagine giving and I don't think they even got to meet Aaron Judge like at the end of the game.
Oh.
I don't think they went through that. Probably, I wouldn't give a crap about it.
No, I wouldn't either.
He's a Yankee, whatever. But dude, I'm telling you, if they would have offered me $1 million, any amount of money right there, I'm doing it right there at the game if this ever happens to me, because this just normally doesn't go the way you think it's going to go as a fan, right?
That ball couldn't get out of my hands fast enough for $3 million. I'd have thrown that thing like a pitcher. You would just take it as I don't want it. I don't want it, because the more you hold it, the more you don't know what's going to happen to it. But wow, did they take the 100,000?
Oh well, yeah. Because we were going to get more than that. It was just going to go down at that point, right?
Oh boy.
So yeah, that's one of the more that's almost the equivalent of having a winning lottery ticket that you lost.
Yeah.
Right? Like you've got a winning lottery ticket, $3 million in your hand. You're going to wait the next day to go turn it in, to cash it in. You get up that morning, crap, where's my lottery ticket? And you can't find it.
Is it safe to say they don't work in the car dealership because their negotiation skills seem to be extremely terrible?
No, they don't work in the car business.
That's good. That's good.
She's a sports reporter for a number of outlets on TV, and I don't know what he does. She's a model. She was also on The Bachelor. She was on a season of The Bachelor.
Oh, I remember who.
Remember who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember who you talking about.
I don't know.
All you had to say was The Bachelor, and I knew. That's all. That's
Yeah.
Between The Bachelor and Magic Mike, those are I can.
Please tell me you don't watch The Bachelor.
No, I don't watch The Bachelor.
I don't know if I believe that, because you've watched all 3 Magic Mikes and you proudly admit that on the radio.
I didn't watch the second one. I said I didn't watch the second one.
You've seen why wouldn't you watch the second one? You've seen the other 2.
I felt bad enough watching 2 of them. I didn't feel like the third one was necessary.
It didn't sound like you felt bad. It sounded like you were proud of it.
We'll see.
We are the JP Peterson Show. I almost said From the Rough. We are the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports and 102.5 HD2 The Strike. We're going to take a quick break here. On the other side, we will have a little bit of Masters talk, because we got Johnny here. We got to have Masters and golf talk. We've got an interesting situation here in the NFL where I came across a redraft of 2018. And this involves the Buccaneers and a number of teams, where if what we know now, going back to 2018, where would players have been drafted? Who would the Bucs have taken? Who, if you don't remember, we'll go over who they did take. Wasn't that great? Actually, I think we're involved in a trade. But we'll get into that right here on the JP Peterson Show. We'll be back in, what does JP say? We'll be back in, we'll see if I can say it like JP. We'll be back in 3.
Hey, it's a great time to buy a house and get a mortgage with American Mortgage Services. Okay, I got your attention now. But JP, rates are at 8%. That's true. But I spoke with our friend Scott Fitzgerald at AMS Tampa, and this is what smart people are doing. Rates peaked at 8% last month, but they've come down, and AMS recently locked some folks in the high sixes. Prices have also stabilized or dropped in some areas. So if you're going to eventually buy, now is the best time to get the house you want. Fitz will get you the best rate out there, shopping it around to dozens of lenders. And when rates come down in a year or so and the frenzy begins again, prices go bananas again, you will already have the pick of the litter. Then he will refinance you and keep costs at nearly zero, because that's what they do at AMS Tampa. You're back at 4% in the house you wanted while others fight the frenzy. Be smart. Stay one step ahead. Email Fitz at scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. Scott Fitzgerald, NMLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine, where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. JP here for Extravaganza Productions. You know, I've worked with these pros on so many big and small events. They recently did the Kappa Alpha Psi Grand Reunion, the Tampa RV Show Exhibit. They did the Skills Center opening of Tampa Bay. They can do those small events. They do the biggest of events. So if you are thinking about planning a meeting or special event, call the talented staff at Team EPI. They will give you a free creative meeting if you mention the JP Peterson Show. They will provide you with an exceptional experience. Heck, they'll even show you their huge warehouse with great props. Anything you want. They'll do it on time and on budget. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports and 102.5 HD2 The Strike. Tampa St. Pete. Welcome into the show, everybody. Happy weekend as we bring in the weekend for you here on the JP Peterson Show and on FanStream Sports. I don't know what Tampa's like, but it's like a beautiful day here in DFW right now. Johnny, what are things like up in Kansas City?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's going to be 70 degrees, sunny today. We've had some weather come in a couple of days ago. It got chilly, but I think they're on the up and up, and I think they're on the good side of it. This time of year in Tampa is just fantastic. I mean, it's warm. You kind of get some windy weather in March, but I'm a big Tampa fan. Great place to live. For Florida, I spent most of my life in the Florida area, more South Florida and Orlando, but that Tampa area, it's great. I mean, I really enjoy it. You haven't been there. We keep talking about making a little trip there to Tampa area.
I just want to go hang out at the patio. I keep hearing all these awesome things about the patio.
Boy, it's a cool place.
I need to see if I can get thrown out of there.
Yeah, well, it's outside, so you won't be inside, so you're already kind of thrown out in the first place. But no, that's a cool place. I like going to the patio. There's a couple other Belmar Saloon's really cool. They have some good wings. There's just a lot of cool. cool things to do in Tampa. The people are great. I mean, for Florida, you can get some different spots in Florida, some tourists and stuff like that. But
Right.
that Florida the Tampa area is kind of like the real people who's kind of grew up in Florida. But it's cool. I'm a big Tampa fan. All the residents there, you guys do it right there in Tampa for sure.
I've been to the East Coast, the Atlantic coast of Florida, and I've never been impressed with any of that. Lots of times in Daytona, spent lots of times at Fort Lauderdale. Jupiter was nice. I didn't mind Jupiter.
Yeah.
I had a buddy from high school that moved there and lived there for a while. It's a friend of mine now that lives in Hilton Head, right on the beach. So he moved to Florida senior year and decided he loved the beach so much that when he graduated and finished college, I think he went to UCF. Which one's in Orlando? Is that UCF?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's where he went. Went and bought him a big house up in Hilton Head, right on the beach, and works from home. Puts his feet in the sand, out with his laptop under the umbrella, right there on the beach every day, and sends me pictures. I'm just like, I hate you so much.
He's with the exception of Hilton Head, being in Hilton Head, it's not really. It's. I have one of my best friends. My best friend in the whole world lives in Hilton Head, and I was just there a couple weeks ago, and this time of year it's brutal. I mean, it's the roads it's not built up, and there's a lot of tourists and things like that. You get it all over, but the traffic is awful in Hilton Head just to try to get on the island. My buddy lives in Bluffton, which is a little on the other side, it's beautiful. But it's interesting. Golf is pretty good there, but it's so crowded this time of year in the Hilton Head area. It's tough. But I always ask, I say, when is a touristy area? He's like, all the times, because people come for the winter and then people come for the summer. The families and stuff like that. So
is Tampa not like that? Doesn't Tampa have a huge population increase in the wintertime? No.
Yeah, but not like that. Not like that. It does. I don't really know what it would be. If anyone listening in Tampa, please let us know how that is.
Yeah.
But it's hot in the summer, but it's not as hot as Dallas in the summer. At least in Tampa, you get some ocean breezes and things like that. But we talk about it all the time. Dallas is the hottest place I've ever been in the summertime. It's humid and it's 115 and it's hot and it's brutal, and you don't have the ocean to go kind of hang out at. So that
we had 40 something days of over 105 degrees in a row last summer,
and humid
and humidity. I mean, dude, I think I told you one night I was leaving an acquaintance's house about 2:00 in the morning on my motorcycle. 2:00 in the morning, riding down the highway, 70 miles an hour, sweating because it was 97 degrees at 2:00 in the morning in the dead of night. 97 degrees, and I'm sweating riding my motorcycle home. That might have had just something to do with the vodka I was drinking too, but you never know.
The good thing,
I won't condone drinking and riding your motorcycle. I certainly don't ever do that. Cocktails are good, though. We do say that quite often.
Yeah.
Johnny, let's take a look at the 2018 NFL draft. This was a big draft in the league. We got a lot of star players that came into the league from here. We'll get into the Buccaneers pick and maybe what they would do differently as we get down in there. But if you remember, Cleveland, seems like they have the number one pick all the time. Them and the Bears, right? Cleveland had the number one pick in 2018. Their choice, of course, at the time, Baker Mayfield, fresh off his Heisman from Oklahoma. Now, and this is from a Bleacher Report, by the way, they say now Cleveland would pass on Baker Mayfield, knowing what they know now. And I don't think he played poorly for Cleveland. I think it was more of a situation where Cleveland failed him.
Yeah, I agree.
And they have Cleveland now picking Josh Allen, quarterback out of Wyoming. Who's to say Josh Allen could have done any better in that situation than Baker Mayfield did? Because I don't know that Josh Allen's a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield.
Well, if you look at it that way, at that time, Baker Mayfield was a better quarterback than Josh Allen. I mean, he certainly was. I mean, going into the NFL, Josh Allen was kind of revered as a little bit of a project, certainly as a big, strong kid. But if you look at that situation, I think you're 100% right. I think Cleveland certainly failed Baker Mayfield in the organization and some of the things that Cleveland did and do. That's just what Cleveland does. I mean, it's their track record. But I think you put Josh Allen in that same situation, I don't think he succeeds nearly as well as Baker Mayfield. I think you're 100% right. And it probably wouldn't be the Josh Allen that you see now.
No. I don't think Josh Allen's as mentally tough as Baker Mayfield is. And I think going into that situation, Baker's mental fortitude is kind of what brought him through all of that. And I don't think Josh Allen could do that at all.
I agree.
With the second pick, the New York Giants had the second pick. They chose out of Penn State running back Saquon Barkley. Well, now in the redraft, God, this would have been a great move for the Giants. Quarterback out of Louisville, fresh off his Heisman Trophy, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
At number 2.
Hold on one second.
Coming, don't you? Ooh, is this room service? Are we getting breakfast here? We got to take a sneak peek in the Johnny room. He's getting towels. He's getting a massage that's coming in.
I had to postpone the massage here for.
He's got guests and the massage coming in.
Sorry about that.
So yeah, Lamar Jackson. Imagine what he would do in New York. Now I know you wouldn't have Barkley in this situation, but don't forget the following season, the 2019 draft is when the Giants traded up to the 6th pick to get future Hall of Famer Daniel Jones. So obviously they would not take Daniel Jones. They wouldn't have moved up to get him. They probably would have moved up to get a running back the following season to go along with Jackson. And the trajectory of the Giants in the NFC East would be completely different at this point now, 6 years later.
Yeah. Do you look at that? I mean, Lamar Jackson, do you think he would succeed? I mean, I don't mind Daniel Jones. You're way higher on him than I am. But, I think Lamar Jackson would probably be in the same situation. I think the organization for the Giants, I think they're fine. I think their track record over the years have been stable in that. I just, I'm not really sure why Daniel Jones hasn't succeeded, but I think if you put Lamar Jackson in that situation, I think he would probably have similar success just because his work ethic and he works hard. I don't think either organization in that with the Ravens or the Giants would have failed him. So I think it'd probably be about the same.
I just think that Lamar Jackson has greater physical talent and physical ability than Daniel Jones does. And you know what? I don't think we really know what Daniel Jones can do because he's been stifled. It's similar to the Baker Mayfield situation in Cleveland. I don't know that we have seen the best of Daniel Jones. Now, season before last, when he earned his contract, certainly we saw a good part of Daniel Jones. He had a lot of success. I think him going somewhere else, though, I'm sure he will do probably after this season. Hopefully it's a good spot. He'll probably sign somewhere as a backup, follow the trajectory of Mitch Trubisky, but probably take over a starting job somewhere. And I think he'll do great.
Yeah,
probably won't be a Hall of Famer like I predicted.
Yeah, certainly not. But he's one of those typical guys that, a bit like Justin Fields could probably use a restart, right? I think he has some abilities, and I think he's a little bit better athlete than what people think. They don't really like him to run, but when he does, I think he's shown that he's able to kind of move out of the pocket a little bit. But yeah, he's a typical guy, just like Justin Fields, that certainly can benefit from a restart somewhere else.
With the 3rd pick, the New York Jets selected Sam Darnold, quarterback out of USC. I know they want to redo from that.
Oh.
Bleacher Report has them now picking Daron Payne, defensive tackle out of Alabama. And as strong as the Jets defense is now, and it's clearly their strength, we will see, and I will reserve judgment on their offense so I can see what Aaron Rodgers can do in the green and white of the Jets, because I don't think he's going to do much, to be honest with you. But that would just add to their stout defense they've got now. They would still be searching for offense. With the 4th pick, the Browns had that selection from the Houston Texans that year. They picked Denzel Ward, cornerback out of Ohio State. Now Bleacher Report has them picking Jair Alexander, another cornerback, though, out of Louisville, Lamar Jackson's teammate. So swapping cornerback for cornerback, clearly Alexander has had the better career at this point than Ward has out of Ohio State. The Broncos had the 5th pick. They picked NC State edge rusher Bradley Chubb. This time they've got Quentin Nelson, guard out of Notre Dame. That is certainly not that there's anything wrong with Chubb, but going offense at that point, because you still had what's his face before he retired. He didn't retire till the following year. Andrew Luck as your quarterback at that time. So yeah, getting some offensive help for him, maybe that would have swayed his decision a little bit to stay with the team because he was getting hit a lot.
I like, I think, I don't mind Chubb. I think he's a little bit of an underachiever. Really, I had higher expectations. I mean, he's had a pretty solid career in the NFL, but how he's come out and going down and playing for, I think this is his third team now, playing for Miami. I think they're moving on from him also. So something there that he has. I mean, if you have a talent like that, why is he switching teams? I mean, he hasn't been in. It's his sixth year in the league. And you're going to be on your third team. So, something internally there is kind of hurting me. I had higher expectations than Chubb. So in my opinion, I think he's just a little bit of an underachiever. And what's the deal? 3 teams in 6 years. That's usually not very good. And that's not always money because your first 3 years you're on your rookie contract.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I like I said, my expectations for him was a little higher.
Let's get to the number 7 pick, which is where Tampa Bay picked. So this was a sketchy one because in 2018, the Bucs traded this pick to Buffalo, who then used that pick to take quarterback Josh Allen. For the redraft purposes, the rules of this redraft, there are no trades. You have to select where you are, right? So that means they are not trading the pick, and obviously they can't pick Josh Allen because he's already off the board at number 1?
Yeah.
Instead, man, they make a move that I think would have secured defensive status for them for years to come because they select Georgia linebacker Roquan Smith.
Who did they really pick?
They didn't pick that. So they traded the pick. So
that's right.
They didn't pick there. Let's see. Did they have another first-round pick?
Is this the Taco Charlton Dallas pit draft?
I don't know. What did we say? 2018?
Yeah, I think it was.
No, this was Leighton Vander Esch.
Oh,
yeah, with nothing wrong with that. Health issues, but not to get into too much Dallas Cowboys talk. And I don't see Tampa Bay. They may have just traded out of the first round because I don't see them having any picks here. Jacksonville was 29, Minnesota 30, and the Patriots 31, Eagles 32. So they just traded out of the first round altogether. But can you imagine adding Roquan Smith at that time to Lavonte David at linebacker? Like that to me, we've seen what Roquan Smith did in Chicago. He was a bright spot on an otherwise really dim defense, then traded to Baltimore where he is now. And as soon as Baltimore got a hold of him, they immediately signed him to a 5-year, $100 million deal. And he is the anchor of that defense in Baltimore. By the way, top 3 defense in the league, as Baltimore typically boasts. But man, I feel like that would have been a huge deal. Now, you would still have issues on offense in 2018. You still needed a quarterback. This was Jameis Winston time still, right? 2018, I think.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
So you still needed a quarterback. But, man, I think adding Roquan Smith to the Lavonte David linebacker core just would have been huge. Those guys
Roquan is one of the – I'm sorry, you're going in and out, but Roquan is one of those guys that's, one of those, not everyone in the NFL has it. He's one of those guys on defense you have to game plan for, right? And he was that way when he was drafted and, when he was coming out. And that's certainly what they have to do with all the good defensive players that they have in Baltimore. He is the guy that you're right, 100% right. He is the anchor there, especially, him coming in pretty new, and he's the anchor there with all the good defensive players that they do have. He's one of those rare guys in NFL on defensive side you have to game plan for.
Yeah. So anyway, I would love to hear from Tampa fans. If you guys are still on with us, it shows that a lot of you are. We'd love to hear from you. Would you rather have Roquan Smith right now and have him paired with Lavonte David, or, how would you have liked that 2018 draft to have gone? I'd love to hear from you. We'll bring some of you guys up on the screen. First, we're going to take our last break of the JP Peterson Show for Friday with another Johnny and Tim takeover, as we did for the full 2 hours back on Tuesday. We had a lot of fun on Tuesday. Maybe JP will trust us to take care of his show. I'm sure he'll have many, many more vacations, right?
I hope so.
That's what he does.
So. Yeah.
That's what he does. But this is the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports and 102.5 HD2 The Strike. The show brought to you by, as always, by the Geddes Gordon Group, Keller Williams, South Tampa, American Mortgage Solutions, Synovus Bank, and Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. We'll be back after this.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to GeddesGordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports at 102.5 HD2 The Strike. I am IndyCar Tim, subbing for JP here in the second hour of his show. Johnny Gerber is right over there next to me, to your radio left, if you will, if you're listening on the radio there in Tampa, or to the recorded podcast at any point in the future. Appreciate everybody joining JP's show and his wonderful sponsors, Jeeves Law Group, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. We had Chris Lugo on with us on Tuesday. He has a wealth of medical information.
Yeah, that was great. That was
you guys
great.
Need to make sure you take advantage of that. He's got all the answers for you, teaches you how to stay away from the snake oil salesman. Italiano Insurance and Golden Diamond Source. Appreciate those guys being part of the show here with JP and FanStream Sports. Johnny, I think we would be amiss if we did not at least talk here for the last 5 minutes or so a little bit of Masters.
Yeah, that's great. Coming up.
Yeah, tell us. It'll be next week, of course, as they are playing the Texas Open down in San Antonio this week. It is the final tune-up, if you will, for a lot of these guys that are getting ready to go play in the Masters. And I noticed something a little bit interesting on the betting odds. For those of you that don't know, Johnny and I do host a FanStream Sports golf show. It's called From the Rough. We air at 6 o'clock Eastern every Monday and Wednesday. Monday is our recap show. Wednesday is our preview show. We talk a lot of gambling, a lot of picks, a lot of odds. Johnny is the handicapper, and we'll give you his free picks, by the way, during the show and on our social media on Wednesday mornings. And then matchups during the weekend on all of our social media, at IndyCar Tim, at Jay Gerber PGA Pro, at FanStream Sports DSP, as well as YouTube and See, we're also on Instagram, a lot of Instagram stuff, and then X, and everywhere you'll find us everywhere to get those picks. But I saw an interesting betting trend here with the Masters, is we have a first-time player that is in the top 10 in the odds. And if you're looking at the odds, and these are, I think, from Caesars is where CBS Sports gets these.
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler, of course, is your favorite, but he is your favorite at plus 500. Rory, of course, is second at plus 1,000. John Rahm, the new live golfer, plus 1,300. Another live guy, Brooksy, at plus 2,100. Jordan Spieth, plus 2,100. Zalatoris, plus 2,100. Victor Hovland, plus 2,100. Schauffele, plus 2,400. And then we come across a very interesting name to me for him to be here in now number 9 in odds, because it's his very first time playing in the Masters, one season removed from being an amateur at Texas Tech and a collegiate player. Ludwig Oberg at plus 2,400 in his very first Masters. Now, is this just me, or does this seem unusual?
Well, it's certainly unusual. It's not only his first Masters, it's his first major.
Yeah.
And if you look, this time last year, he was playing college golf. And You're right. I mean, this just goes to show how much talent and how much the tour players and the odds makers and everyone that's kind of in golf kind of revere this guy. He is a superstar. And another thing, and he was the only person ever to make a Ryder Cup team that didn't play in a major championship, which is extremely strange. And he played great, and we've touted this guy even last year when he was in college. And you were writing some stuff for Texas Tech, and I told you to, hey, let's get together and write this article about Texas Tech golf. And we wrote that article about Oberg, and he was still in college. So he's one of those guys, man, that there's no weakness in his game. He's one of the best drivers of the golf ball on the PGA Tour, and this is what it's going to take. At Augusta. Now, I don't like him, and just because of Augusta is a kind of a different animal. I think experience plays a huge factor there. And obviously these guys do their prep work. He's been out there multiple times. Once you get your invitation to Augusta, then you can go play whenever you want. So it's not going to be like it's his first time on property. But there's just so many little things. I mean, the only person that's ever won in his first appearance was Fuzzy Zeller. That's won the Masters in his very first appearance. And this is the reason why. It's just a very difficult place to get to know. And the biggest thing isn't to know where to miss it. Sometimes it's better to miss the green on a specific hole than be on the green on the wrong side of the hole. So, some of those little nuances that Augusta kind of throws out to these guys, that's the reason why there's only been one a winner that's first appearance there.
Yeah. And while we're in front of a new audience here that's not our From the Rough Normal Golf audience, you are a golf handicapper, sports handicapper. You don't just do golf. We talk betting a lot on our show when we have you on the Colby Sapp and IndyCar Tim show. A lot of times it's betting and gambling based. Give everybody real quick in like a minute or so, like what your philosophy is on betting and why you don't always bet the favorites or really ever bet the favorites, and kind of how you break down your picks.
Yeah, I use like a 12. There's usually a 10-12 system. I mean, it's just not one thing. You have to kind of know there's so many elements when it comes to betting, and there's got to be some value. I mean, if you look at the favorite, Scotty Scheffler, he's 5-1. You want to put $100 to get 500 back on your money. There's just not a lot of value for me. So there's a whole, it's a formula that we've used over the past 4 or 5, 6 years that's really had some success. There's a really, horses for courses is very predominant in what we do. There's a reason why these guys play well seemingly every year on specific golf courses. It's just because their game fits. That's a component that we use. Weather is a component that we use. And a lot of the other inside information that we can get and gather from, the people that are connected through us, that I can make some calls and most people can't, to really kind of create a system. And it's worked. We've profited over $140,000 for people over the last 4 years. Our track record and our matchups is undeniable. Everything is documented when it comes to our picks. So yeah, it's something that I enjoy doing. It's something that's been profitable for people. We're not having a great year this year, but it's so early in the year. We are 22-6-2 in matchups. It seems not a lot. Last year we won over 100 matchups. That's just because of the match play, right? We're not going to get the match play this year. And that was a tournament that I had won 3 of the last 4 years outright winner at the very beginning.
Yep.
So that lends a lot of money in our profit side. But yeah, it's great. We follow up with it. It's like I said, something I'm really passionate about, and being lucky enough to be a PGA professional, I can get some of that inside information.
Yep, you guys can get lots more of this on Monday with the recap of the Texas Open on FanStream Sports, 6:00 Central. It is a live show, just like JP Peterson. JP will be back on Monday with Nick Geddes. I will be seeing the rest of you on Tuesday with JP Peterson on the JP Peterson Show, right here on FanStream Sports at fanstreamsports.com, the FanStream Sports app, live every day, and at the Strike 102.5 HD2. For JP and for Johnny, I'm IndyCar Tim. We'll see you guys.